So now we're going to look at some diagrams where we're going to use parallel lines, but it's not exactly the same look as we're used to. So sometimes the diagrams will look different. We can extend the lines and look for other patterns to help us use the rules. So right here, I know because of the arrows that these two lines are parallel. So to make it look a little bit more familiar, I can extend each of these lines out. And then I also know that right here is my transversal. So I can also extend this line as well. And now that it is extended, it looks very similar to the parallel lines that I am used to. So I can pick two colors and mark up my diagram in the way that I am used to. And I can see that these two angles that I'm given are different colors, so I know that they are supplementary. So I know that x plus 35 is equal to 180. Subtract 35. To get x is equal to 145 degrees. Now, if we look at the next one, I have parallel lines. But what's different here is that I have not just one, but I have two transversals. So I'll just have two different sets. So here, I'm just marking up using the pattern that I know. And I'll use different colors for the other one. And now based off of this, I can say that angle 2 is equal to 54 degrees because it's the same color as the orange 54. And I can see that angle 3 and 112 are supplementary because they are different. So x plus 112 is equal to 180. Solving a one-step equation. X is equal to 68, so angle 3 is equal to 68 degrees. Sometimes what we're going to have to do is construct an auxiliary line. This is basically just a helper line. It's going to split my diagram in such a way that I will be able to use my parallel line relationships. So in our original problem down here, they gave us these two parallel lines, and they gave us this transversal and this transversal. So you can kind of see that there's a sort of bend in the diagram here, and so the auxiliary line would be drawn right here. So this is a line that's also parallel to my two pink lines that allows me to sort of break up the diagram into two. Because now, if I'm looking, right, I can extend my lines out. And I can start marking up my diagram. And I'm only going to mark the ones that are kind of seen in my diagram right now. So I don't really need the information below the yellow line for my top diagram because we don't really see it. So I'll go on to my bottom pair, because right now what I can see is that angle 1 is marked green. So angle 1 is equal to 41 degrees. Angle 3 is this whole thing. So angle 3 has to be equal to angle 1 plus angle 2. So now I'm going to go and start marking up this diagram. So I can see that angle 2 is equal to 35 degrees because it's the same color. So angle 3 is equal to 41 plus 35, which gives me 76 degrees. So you're basically using the auxiliary line to split it up into two sets of parallel lines and then using the relationships to find the middle angle. The first practice problem is nearly identical to the one we just did. So I'm first going to draw an auxiliary line as well as extend some of my lines out. So now angle G is made up of these two pieces. So I have to figure out what angles 1 and 2 are. So angle 1 is not equal to 144. Angle 1 plus 144 is equal to 180. So I'm solving for angle 1 first. So I get 36. So I can fill that in here. So I still have to figure out what angle 2 is. So now I'm going to go down to the bottom. So here I can see that angle 2 is equal to 56 degrees because they are the same color. So I add these two together. (92 degrees). That is the measurement of angle G. Again, very similar. I see this little corner created, so I want to create an auxiliary line. Extend my lines out. Angle I, again, is going to be angle 1 plus angle 2. And we start to mark. So I can see that angle 1 plus 117 is equal to 180 because they're different colors. So angle 1 is equal to 63 degrees. And now I'm going to do the same thing to the bottom. So again, I see they're different colors. So angle 2 plus 129 is equal to 180. So angle 2 is 151, so my final step is to add those two together. (115 degrees). So now, if two lines are intersected, we know the congruent angles, we know the pattern. The other side is that if we can show that the angles are congruent, right? So if I can show that this pattern holds in one of the cases, right? If I can show that these two are congruent, then I can say that the lines are parallel. So if we look here, they are asking us, how can we make 6x plus 42 be equal to 18x minus 12? Because if they are equal, then the lines would have to be parallel. So they're asking you to solve for x. So move the x's to one side. And now we have a two-step equation. Move the constant. We have 12x is equal to 54. So now all we have to do is 54 divided by 12. We get x is equal to 4.5. So if x is equal to 4.5, then the angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel. So now we have some practice. So for these practice, numbers 2 and 4 are challenge because we have not really gone into isosceles triangles yet. So let's focus primarily on 1, 3, and 5. So on 1, 3, and 5, they're asking what value of x would make lines n and m parallel. So we want that pattern to be true. So x would have to be the same as one of the pink angles. Now, we don't know what the pink angle is, and we only know what part of a green angle is here. It's 80, and this part is missing, but if we look, these two smaller angles are vertical. So I know that the green is actually going to be 110 degrees. So then I know that the pink is going to be 70 degrees because they have to be supplementary. So for this one, we are finding the measurements of angles B and C. So I am going to extend my lines because I have 2 parallel lines and I have 2 transversals. So let's start marking up. So I know this one and this one are the same. So I already know that C is 46 degrees. I know that B is the same as part of 94. So it's not the entire 94. So let's see what else we know. So I know that this piece is 46. So then because of vertical angles, I know that this piece is 46. So B is equal to 94 minus 46 because by cutting away this piece, I'll be left with just the pink. So now I'm just going to do 94 minus 46, and I get 48 degrees. So C is equal to 46 degrees, B is equal to 48. And then for number 5, they give me that the lines are parallel. If measurement of angle 2 is 3x plus 17, 3 is 5x minus 21, what is measurement of angle 1? So I'm going to highlight to see my relationships. So they gave me information about 2 and 3. 2 and 3 form a straight line, so they are supplementary. So they add up to 180. First step is to combine like terms. So I have 8x minus 4 equals 180. Add the constant to both sides. Now I divide by 8 to get x by itself. I get x is equal to 23. Now, that's not what they're asking for. They're asking for the measurement of angle 1. Angle 1 is pink. Angle 1 matches with angle 2. So I'm going to take angle 2, which is 3 times our x, 23, plus 17, to get an answer of 86 degrees. Now again, for right now, we're going to skip numbers 2 and 4, just because we have not dealt with isosceles triangles yet, so those can get a little bit complicated.